What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight. All right, wow, we haven't come back to these guys in a while. We're coming back to 21 Pilots. Yes, indeed. 21 Pilots fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-boobity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Zach D, and Zach wanted to see me react to this song by 21 Pilots called Holding On To You. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Great Ross Turner, all one word, and the video has 3.5 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. 21 Pilots, Holding On To You, live at Fox Theater. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Don't lose that microphone now, boy.
I'm taking over my body, back control no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was out gazing, crossing eyes and dollars. I fought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore, flesh out the door. I must have forgot, you can't trust me. I'm open a moment and close me short before you know what I'm lost to see. And now that I write and think about it and the story unfolds, you should take my life, you should take my soul. Are we feeling?
Okay.
Loosen up, come on now. Come on now. You are surrounding all my surroundings, sounding down the mountain range of my left side brain. You are surrounding all my surroundings, please give it up for Jazz John on the drums. Remember the moment, you know exactly where you're going, cause the next moment before you know it, time is slowing and it's frozen still, and the windowsill looks really nice, right? You think twice about your life, it probably happens at night, right? Fight it, we take the pain, ignite it, tiredness around your mind, loosen up to breathe, find it tired to a tree, tell it you belong to me, this ain't the news, this is the least. I have news for you, you must obey me. You are surrounding all my surroundings, sounding down the mountain ridge of my left side brain. You are surrounding all my surroundings, twisting the kaleidoscope behind both of my eyes.
Fighting. Wow, I did not realize that 3 minutes and 50 seconds had flown by. That's a surprise. I thought we were about the 2.5 minute mark. Okay, that's a good sign. Time's flying by. That's a good sign. It's not dragging. I'm not bored. That's always a good sign. So that's definitely going to help in the end. A lot of track usage, you know, and I'm not terribly surprised by that with a 2-member band. I'm not terribly surprised by that. There is a lot of track usage, but the tracks are not taking the lead. They're not coming up to the front and leading the charge. Now that's being done by the actual musicians on stage. People have asked me in the past how I feel about track usage during a live show. A band that, you know, says that they're a live band and they play everything live and, you know, and they're using track. Okay. So for those of you that have never heard my spiel on this, let me give my spiel one more time. I have absolutely no problem with bands using track in a live setting. I have no problem with it whatsoever. It's becoming more and more prominent. It's becoming more and more commonplace. More and more bands are doing it. And that's just, it seems to be the future of the music industry and the future of live performance. So I have absolutely no problem with it, as long as the band that's utilizing the backing track are honest about it. Okay? Now, we only have a drummer on stage with a vocalist / piano player. Okay? That's it. There's no other keyboardist on stage. So all the keyboard parts were heavy, minus the piano. All of the synthetic, all of the digital keyboard parts that we're hearing are very clearly digital. That's fine. I got no problem with that. They're being honest about it. They're not putting somebody on stage in front of and putting them behind a keyboard, whether it be a Casio or a Korg. Doesn't really matter. You know, they're not putting them in front of a keyboard and telling them to pretend to play. You know, we'll plug all the cables in and run them off stage so it looks like it's plugged in. Just sit there and pretend like you're playing the song, you know? You'd be amazed how many bands do that, though. I know that sounds silly. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous. And I personally find that insulting when bands do that. You're insulting the intelligence of the audience. Now, granted, you will fool some of the people in the audience. You will fool them, and they'll actually believe it. But there's a lot of us in the audience that are going to notice a lot of inconsistencies. Like, how come his hands aren't hitting the keys when the keyboard parts are playing? Or how come his hands are moving on the keys, but we don't hear those keyboard parts, you know? Stuff like that. You know, we'll trust me. For the most part, people are pretty intelligent, and we will catch on to that stuff. As long as bands are honest about it, and they don't pretend, they don't lip sync, they don't, try to fool the audience, then I have no issue with it. And in this situation like this, I have no reason to complain about it because they're being honest and being open about it. Yes, we use track. Cool. Glad you do. It sounds good. I got no issue with it. The drumming is solid. I like what I'm hearing. Even with his big, exaggerated emotions, it still sounds good. It still sounds tight. Vocally, the switching between the hip-hop style of delivery versus the clean, melodic singing style of the vocals, switching between the two, he's doing it well. He's doing it in appropriate places. There's a definite pattern. So everything sounds good across the board. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm amazed by this or I'm blown away by it. No, I've seen two-man acts before. This is not my first dance. It's not my first rodeo, but they're doing it well. I will give credit where credit's due. It sounds good. And like I said, 3 minutes and 49 seconds have gone by. And I swear, folks, it feels only like about 2.5. So good on them. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review.
Is it time to move our feet? Some introspective beat, it ain't the speakers in my heart. It's ours to make a lean with it, rock with it. When we gonna stop with it? Lyrics tell me nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat, it ain't the speaker? Lean with it, rock with it. When we gonna stop with it? Lyrics tell me nothing, we were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet? It's ours to make a beat.
Okay. Yeah. That just happened. All right, let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was 21 Pilots with Holding On to You. This was a request from Zach D. Okay, I thought about it, got a score, and let's get to it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.2. Yep, 7.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, the 7.2. What does that mean? Well, a 7.2 would translate to a really good skill rating. So overall, I think this was a really good job. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and a B letter grade. Yes, B is in boy. So there you go, a 7.2, really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Okay, look, from a songwriting standpoint, can we be honest here? Was that a particularly impressively written song? Nah, not from a songwriting standpoint, not from like a notational selection standpoint, or a chordal progression standpoint, or a melodic line, or a counter melodic line standpoint, nothing like that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I was blown away by something that I wasn't, okay? It's solid, it's good, it sounds good, it flows well, it transitions well from piece to piece to piece of the puzzle, and it all fits like a glove, okay? At the end of the day, do you really need more than that? Not really. I mean, this will do the deed without question. This will absolutely get the job done. The arranging was kind of interesting, switching around the usage of dynamics, switching feel within the song, as far as not so much from like a halftime straight time thing, but more from a song direction standpoint. That was really more on the arranging as far as I'm concerned, because the chordal progression never changed. It's just like I said, mostly through the usage of dynamics, bringing in voices, taking out voices. That's arrangement, okay? And I think the arrangement, I think they did a fine job. I really do. The usage of track, I've already talked about this at length. I'm not going to talk about it at length again in this episode. I'm just going to say that I had no problem with it, and I have my reasons why I have no problem with it. If you're wondering what those reasons are, you must not have watched the video, because I talked about the reasons at length. So if you don't know what my reasons are, that's your fault. Go back and rewatch the video. Let's see. As far as the individuals in the band goes, everything sounded really good from both of them. Drumming was solid. I had no issue with anything the drummer was doing. Even with the big exaggerated movements that he was doing, the standing up with the great big huge arm motions, he never lost the beat. He never lost the tempo. He never got off track. Everything still sounded really good. So got no problems with anything he did. As far as the vocalist goes, switching between the two vocal styles when appropriate, I feel like that was really well done. Actually, it was 3 vocal styles. Towards the end, he started getting a little bit of that grit and growl, just a little bit of gravel in his voice toward the end. I like that approach. It added to the intensity of the song, and with the song wrapping up the way it was, I think that was a very smart move. But all of his vocal approaches sounded really good. No issues with any of them. His piano playing sounded really nice. Got no issue there. Two big factors. If I'm being honest, though, like I said, I wouldn't say the song was impressively written, or even, if I'm being 100% honest, I wouldn't even say the song was a really good song for the song standpoint. I would say it's a pretty good song. I would put the song on its own probably somewhere in the 6 point. If I'm being honest, I would honestly put the song somewhere, like I said, about the 6.4, 6.5 range, okay? Which would be about right in the middle of the pretty goods. So, why am I giving this a 7.2? Well, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know what I'm going to say here. So, say it with me, kids.
Sing it out one time.
A live show can help your score, or it can hurt your score. And in this case, it helped. It helped quite a bit. Let's go down the checklist and let's see if they checked everything off. I'm almost positive they did. Stage presence, check. Yeah, they look like performers. They acted like performers. There was no doubt in my mind that they were performers and not roadies. So, yeah, stage presence, definite check. Stage energy. Surprisingly, yes, a lot more than I was expecting for a song of this feel and a song of this type of style. A lot more stage energy than I was anticipating. So that was a nice surprise. That gets a big check. Stage interaction. There wasn't a lot, but there was that one moment where they both were standing, they both jumped up on the piano and they were interacting with each other. So yeah, it is getting a check. It's not a strong check, but it is getting a check nonetheless. Crowd interaction, number of times, check. Before the song even officially kicked in, he was up in the crowd, and I absolutely count that as crowd interaction. You better believe it. From there, number of times over the course of the entire performance where he would engage with the crowd, whether it be with hand gestures or whether he be with call and response with his vocals. He was constantly engaging the crowd and re-engaging the crowd. It wasn't like it happened once and that was it. No, he was sharpening the saw pretty consistently. So I'm going to give that a big check, and that's honestly the most important one. Showmanship, check. Yeah, absolutely. The stage energy goes right into it with everything that we saw from the utilization of the piano as a prop, doing backflips off of it, jumps off of it, running up and jumping up on the ego block, running back to the piano, jumping from the ground up onto the piano, jumping off the piano, landing on the stool, and getting back into playing again. Drummer, jumping over the drum set from the front to be able to get back there and play again. I mean, it was all visually stimulating, and it was all very entertaining. So yeah, absolutely. Showmanship definitely gets a check. Production, believe it or not, I'm going to give it a check. There wasn't a ton. It was lighting and video screens, okay? But both were very clearly designed around the song. The lighting was definitely pre-programmed. It was not just random light patterns thrown out there. Okay, run execution, A5 through, C7, and, we'll just let that run and, just randomize every 5 or 6 seconds randomize. It wasn't that. No, it was very clearly designed to go with the song. So yeah, I'll give the production the check. Production's not a big deal. It's bonus points. It's not going to be the thing that determines whether. Well, I mean, then again, it can. It's not super important if you're not a production-based band, but it does help if it's done well a little bit. Now, if you're a production-based band and you rely on production to put on your visual show, then your production better be on point. Because if it's not, it's gonna destroy you. I'm also going to admit, I did bump it up a couple of extra points, a couple of extra tenths of a point, because honestly, when I hit the pause button, I swear I thought we were like about the 2.5 minute mark, and 3 minutes and 49 seconds had gone by. Well, that means time was flying, so clearly I was enjoying myself. Clearly I was having fun. So that definitely influenced my score a little bit. So 7.2, that is exactly the score I feel this overall presentation deserves. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 7.2, which is a really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.